Welcome, denizens of the internet and all you viewers at home, to the ROC Texas State Championship, sponsored by TCGplayer.com and hosted by Space Cadets Gaming. This event's being brought to you live streamed by Nerd Thug Radio. I am the infamous Angry Zach.
And I'm the guy who knows everything, Cole Baldridge.
There we go. We're starting round one here of the Texas State Championship.
On one table, we have Mario Cortez. Let's take a look at his team right now. So he's running the Chase Hulk, and he's running Goblin King with a couple of IDs and a symbiote. So it's a standard 1-2. It's a couple of heavy hitters. He could have some threats. The Goblin King is very versatile, and it's a Swiss Army knife of powers that you can pick and can pose quite a threat.
Hopefully we'll get to see a Hulk's Gambit today, which I am personally a huge fan of. Well, so who do we have for player two?
I mean, Hulk and Goblin King are going to have quite the challenge because Elliott Henson of Team Ragnarok is running the tried and true. He's running the Supreme Jakeem. It's Jakeem Thunder with the Supreme Intelligence, and aiding him on the side, he has the Planeswalker Clicks, Merc with the Mouth, and with a Colossal Retaliator and a supporting pocket some IDs. So we've seen this build before in the meta. It's definitely made the rounds. It's definitely proved itself. Jakeem is definitely not a threat to be tribal with, especially when he can have willpower to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Now, what's interesting about these two setups, this match at least, is they both have pick-a-power characters on their team. How do you think that's going to play out?
Well, pick-a-power, as you know, means whatever your imagination can conceive is what the player's actually allowed to do. So that's pretty exciting stuff, if I'm not mistaken. I personally am a big fan of being able to fly, which allows me to go to another HeroClix board nearby and take powers from their team. Is that correct?
WizKids has not yet to make something as broken as that, and one day, let's hope that they never will.
Huh.
All right, so
that is interesting.
Let's take a look. Looks like Mario is starting the beginning setup. He's going to send Hulk out first.
A Hulk's Gambit, as you know, is when a large character on the board, such as the Hulk, makes the opening move in a HeroClix tournament, just like this. It's exciting stuff.
Yes, he's considering his options. He's trying to see what Elliott's first move will be. He probably doesn't want to overstretch himself too much. Let's see.
Mario's doing a lot of counting, a lot of card passing back and forth.
And that is quite the common practice, just to make sure. Even you can be a really great player, but it's still wise to know everything that you possibly can about the other team.
It seems like a good spirit of camaraderie when you're letting your opponent check out the vital stats on your own player piece. Is that something that's common throughout these kind of tournaments, or
it's standard practice that if a player wants to see a card, they can request to see their opponent's card. However, with the new Emerson Superior Foes of Spider-Man with the dial pointer on the back, you just can't look at the dial on the back.
Gotcha.
Yes, because that would just leave some strategic information. All right, let's take a look at his main attacker. So, for those of you at home who aren't familiar, the Avengers Defenders War Chase Hulk is 200 points. He is quite the beatstick. He starts out with an opening charge. He starts out with top dial invincible and leadership. Now, the leadership is not going to really come into a play here unless he wants to try to pull tokens off Goblin King, and that could be a viable strategy. So it looks like Goblin King has retreated. Oh, okay. So it looks like Goblin King used TK to put Hulk out to grab the symbiote. So now Hulk is going to have plasticity, shape change, and he's going to automatically break away.
TK, for those of you who don't know at home, is a technical kill.
While there will be plenty of technical kills here, we here call it telekinesis.
Telekinesis, which is the power to smell things in the future.
Very much indeed. All right, so let's see what Elliott's doing.
So now it looks like Elliott's counting out his squares, preparing for his, if I'm not mistaken, his first move out onto the board.
Yes, he doesn't have a symbiote or other equipment that needs to be picked up, so he isn't going to be spending a turn one equip. So he has the luxury of positioning and making sure that all of his pieces are in the optimal spot.
Taking his time, setting up the board just how he wants it, kind of.
Okay, so it looks like Sidescraper Woman was sidestep and carried both Jakeem and Deadpool. So that's going to save tempo later in the game because Jakeem and Deadpool didn't have to move.
It's a little hard to tell from this bird's eye view of the board, but this Wonder Woman on the board is about 2.5 feet tall, and it is just an imposing thing to see.
Yeah, let's see what she does. She is one of the new Colossal Retaliators that came out with the 15th anniversary Elseworlds set. Now, she is only 15 points, so she is on par with the Atom, and we all know how effective the Atom can be in competitive play. So, what makes her different is, so just like most of the other Retaliator pieces, if you can give her a free action if either she has been attacked or a friendly character has taken damage this turn. You can then place her next to the character who dealt the damage, and you target all characters within 2 squares of that target. She then makes an attack with her 10 attack, targeting all of those characters. And hit characters are each dealt 3 damage instead of normal damage. And here's the important part: they can't be moved or be placed or make ranged attacks during their next turn.
That's incredible.
That is a powerful piece. It's not as effective at damaging as the Atom is. However, that inability, that loss of turn, and that loss of tempo is really going to...
It can really cripple a player.
That's going to hurt anything that Wonder Woman hits, because they're going to spend their next turn not being able to do anything. And if they can't do anything or even make a close combat attack, then they essentially skip their turn. So that's going to be something that Mario is going to have to... looks like there's a judge call in the other room. Alright, let's...
Mario counting out his moves, I think. Now we're back over to Elliott.
Yeah, both of them are taking their time and figuring out what they want to do.
One thing I've seen in all my years commentating on these HeroClix tournaments is while sometimes they take a while to get going, usually the action becomes pretty fast-paced once first blood is drawn. These two players seem to be taking their time, really giving a lot of consideration and thought to what it is they're doing, inspecting one another's pieces. I do anticipate, though, once first blood is drawn, a big rush of movement.
Yes, once first contact happens, it's going to be a few turns until somebody gains a significant advantage. Now, both players do have their own set of challenges to face. Jakeem is very versatile. He starts out with an 8 movement and sidestep, so he inherently can reach out 10 squares, and he has another 8 range from that. So he can pick, say, hypersonic speed, move 10 squares, and then attack another 4 away. So he essentially has a 14 square reach. That's going to be really tough for the Hulk and Goblin King to contend with, especially if they're trying to get a position and they can't exactly strike first, so to say.
Right, that's an enormous move and an enormous span of the board that can be covered very, very quickly. It's very hard to defend against something like that.
Absolutely.
No matter how strong a player you are.
And because Jakeem is a flyer, he can just sail all over this terrain. If you look in the middle, there is a jut of elevated terrain that is going to block the line of fire so they can't potshot each other. Now, that's not to say that Cortez's team is a pushover by any means. We all know the performance that Goblin King did at Worlds and did at Nationals. He is a force to be contended with. Although with the most recent errata, we're going to see how much of an effective piece he's going to be. The Hulk is the beef and cake of this. He's the meat of this team. See, he has. Now, his top dial is kind of conservative. 10 attack is not what you want to have in an opening swing. However, if Jakeem hits that hit, and even if he gets past that invincible, which is really hard to do, if he is going to do that, I mean, you're going to mid dial. He has defense powers. He says impervious, and his powers and abilities can't be countered. And on click 4, Hulk has a 12 movement, a 12 attack, a 19 defense, and a whopping 6 damage with Battle Fury.
That's incredible.
That is. Now, he's not going to be able to be taxied by Goblin King, but at that point, that Battle Fury is going to be more in his favor as he can just cut through any shape change if Jakeem decides to push it. Now, he also has traded Super Strength and Colossal Stamina ability. So that means Hulk can just, if this game goes on long enough and Mario decides he wants to pull the plug, then he could just push and push and push Hulk and get him onto those strong clicks. Now, when he does, when Hulk, the thing is, when Hulk is, according to his trait, when Hulk is damaged by an attack spell, Jakeem hits him, then his combat values are going to increase by 1 for each time he's hit until he clears actions enemies. And because he has colossal stamina, he doesn't have to clear if that's the case.
Which is actually very true of myself in real life. The more I get punched, the angrier I get, and the stronger and more impervious I become. Much like the Hulk. There's a lot about the Hulk that is in common with me.
Hulk is a very complex character about the human condition.
Just like me.
We can all learn some.
Yeah.
We can all learn some
I think we can all learn something from the Hulk and also Angry Zach.
All right, let's go back to the board and take a look and see what is going on.
That big 2-foot-tall Wonder Woman's still there. I like that.
Yep, they're just hanging out. They're still trying to, each player is still trying to decide what to do and how to effectively get the first strike. Now, from what I can see, because Hulk has that mid-dial strength, and when he gets hit, he's going to get more powerful. If Jakeem just lone wolfs it out there and attacks Hulk or Goblin King, he's going to be very vulnerable for retaliation. Hulk would be able to possibly hit for 7 damage, possibly 8 if he rolls correctly on symbiotes. And Goblin King could just pick Running Shot and Pulse Wave, or any number of powers to be able to effectively hurt Jakeem.
Looks like Elliott's considering his move very, very carefully now.
Yes, that is hallmark for a Ragnarok team member. They plan their moves correctly and they try to make as little mistakes as possible. It's not live.
Looking at the board now, it looks like Elliott's getting ready to finally move his piece out. Doing a little square counting here. It's always exciting to view.
All right.
He's checking diagonal movement. Oh, here we go. What's going on now? I think now would be a really good time for a Hulk's Gambit, which, as you guys know, means to take the biggest, strongest player on the board and just try to clear out as much as possible.
Now, one of the characters we haven't talked about is Merc with a Mouth. Now, this is an interesting character in and of itself. He's 70 points. His first half of the dial is range combat focus, and his second half of the dial is close combat focus. Now, it's an interesting character because he is the first HeroClix ever to have the title character abilities. Now, for those of you who play Magic the Gathering, essentially that means he's a planeswalker. Deadpool's so meta, he's now using mechanics from other games.
That's fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. So,
I do love Deadpool.
Yes. Now, Eclipso is equipped to Deadpool, so that does give Impervious and Precision Strike and Shape Change, so a little more cushioning for protection, because Merc with the Mouth does not have any inherent damage reducers, so even if he gets hit a couple of times severely, he could be in a little bit of trouble. But right now, it looks like... Oh, look, okay, looks Jakeem popped out an ID, Nick Fury for the ID card. He's going to try, and looks like he's going to attack Goblin King.
There we go.
All right, so... Okay, so Nick Fury now has a 12 attack, and Elliott's going to increase Nick Fury's damage to a 6. He looks like he's attacking the Hulk.
Oh.
This could get nasty.
That's lovely. So Nick Fury's going to hit the Hulk here. Is that correct?
Okay, he has shape change. So Elliott's considering his options of what power to take away with Nick Fury. Because Nick Fury can nerf any of the power, any standard power that he wants to. Or even any special power too. So he has Invincible from Hulk, and Hulk has shape change. So he has to consider, does he want to deal less damage to the Hulk and knock him onto his God Click, or does he want a chance fizzling the attack and trying to get past the shape change.
Seems really, really risky to do anything that's going to turn Hulk's dial at this point in the game, right?
Well, if Nick Fury does manage to swing...
Oh, checking line of
Yeah,
sight.
he's trying to see if he can attack Goblin King in the ult. Oh, and it looks like he possibly could. Okay. Nick Fury does ignore elevation and hindering. So if Nick Fury gets 6, he's going to put him on to click 7, and it's going to be he's going to be much less effective. All right. So Elliott is taking out Invincible. Nick Fury is going to try to swing on Hulk. It's a 12th attack. He's now going to need a 6 to hit the Hulk for 6 damage.
So he has to roll a 6 or better to do 6 damage for Hulk.
Yes, this is the first contact we have been waiting for.
It's exciting stuff. Here we go.
All right, shape change roll failed. And Nick Fury is going to be rolling.
7. How much was it? 19?
That is a 19 on Nick Fury, dealing 6 damage to the Hulk. Now that's going to put him on a 10 with charge, a 10 attack, a 17 with invulnerability, and a 3 damage with exploit weakness.
That's a big hit on Hulk.
Yes. Now Hulk does have Quake, and he can deal 3 damage with Quake, but he's going to still have to cross the rest of the board. He's going to have to cross the rest of the board to effectively utilize that. Now, Hulk looks like he has one of his anchor tokens, so he's not going to have an 11 attack and 4 damage. He could charge up to 6 squares away, so we will see what happens next. But that was a fantastic play by Elliott Henson.
To use Nick Fury without hindering, with where line of sight isn't as big a deal, to hit the Hulk and do 6 clicks of damage right off the bat on his first move.
From the first time he came out, Nick Fury has been format warping. Now it looks like we have a judge call at the table. But Nick Fury, he ignores hindering, he ignores elevated, he ignores characters. Pretty much the only thing he doesn't ignore is blocking terrain.
And anything on the left side of his body.
Yes.
Because of the eye patch, you know. Do you get it, Colt?
Yeah.
Because Nick Fury has an eye patch and he can't see on his left.
Well, Nick Fury does have the Watcher's Eyes to see secrets, but can you see why kids love to taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Okay, but left eye patch, I don't care what powers he has. Nick Fury can't see anything on the left side of the board.
Nick Fury is going to reside in the sideboards of aspiring players everywhere until he rotates next year.
All right.
Okay, so look, Elliott is considering his next options. Maybe he will use Jakeem to hypersonic again for the kill. Well, if he does manage to kill off the Hulk, all he has to do is deal 2 more damage. I mean, 2 of that damage would be reduced by the Hulk's invulnerability, but Jakeem opens up with a printed 4 damage. So
it could be a big hit. We could take the Hulk out right now, huh?
He very well could if he chose something like hypersonic speed or battle fury. It very much is doable. That could decide the game. Now, it depends if he manages to hit the attack or not. He still has the probability control from Jakeem. He has the probability control from Nick Fury. So he has the rerolls he needs, unless the dice gods really decide to hate him today.
Who's left for Mario if the Hulk gets taken out?
If the Hulk gets it,
it's the Goblin King left, correct?
Goblin King. Now, Goblin King is quite the versatile piece. He's running him at 75 points, and that could cause some trouble. He starts with a 10 attack and 4 damage, and he can be given a free action to pick any 2 standard powers until his next turn. However, Goblin King is at 75 points, is only 4 clicks deep.
Ooh, that's risky.
So that will take a couple of hits, and then he could be gone for good.
The Goblin King, for those of you who don't know in Marvel Comics, is the literal king of the goblins.
No, he's the guy that the dwarves run away from in The Hobbit, right?
That's correct.
Wait, that's the other Goblin King.
Oh, I see.
Oh, man.
The guy from Labyrinth.
Yeah, him. Yeah. Oh, okay. He looks like Merc of the Mouth is going to make a shot. So he's going to take the more resilient character out there.
What's going on with this Wonder Woman right now?
Wonder Woman looks like she is sidestepping back and carrying Jakeem just to take him away. Now, Deadpool, one of his title character abilities is he can be given a free action to just heal 1 click.
Oh,
now,
nice.
Now, if Deadpool uses one of his title character abilities and doesn't attack another opposing character, he takes 1 unavoidable damage. However, you can maintain equilibrium if you're just healing and taking and just building up those.
Right.
And just building up those title character abilities, because Merc with the Mouths has an ultimate ability, and he removes 6 plot pound.
Willpower, perplexity.
He removes 6 plot point counters, and he can attack, essentially dealing 2 penetrating. And he can deal 2 penetrating damage to both of his characters. So Mario now has to consider his options and see. Okay, looks like.
So what are we doing with the Goblin King right now?
Alright, Goblin King just picked Perplex, and he's going to Perplex down Merc with the Mouse defense. Now, okay, now the Hulk is going to charge in and attack Merc with the Mouth. Now, I'm assuming that Eclipse, or there is Impervious on Eclipso with Deadpool. Alright, so I'm not sure what Elliott was doing by moving Jakeem back with Wonder Woman, but it is possible he could want to bait out the Retaliator and try to lock down Hulk. Alright. Mario's going to need 5 to hit for 4 damage.
Let's see what we've got here.
And that's a 6. Alright, Deadpool's making the Impervious roll. Stealing 8 damage. Impervious roll is not enough. Alright,
So
dealing
that's a
6 damage,
damage.
putting on Click 7. Ow, that was...
It's a big hit for
Both sides are
Deadpool,
heavy hitting today.
which is excellent. That's what I like to see in these games.
Oh man, it's quite exciting. So the Hulk, let's just break down what happened. So the Hulk increased his stats. He had a +1 to his combat values from getting hit. He had the object. I'm assuming he rolled well enough on a symbiote roll to +1 to his combat values again. And on top of that, he used an object to hit Deadpool. That was a devastating play to Deadpool. Now Deadpool's going to have to be trying to heal up and using regeneration, just to try to keep from dying. And we'll see what happens.
Looks like Deadpool's fleeing.
That would be a tactical decision at this point.
But is it really going to help with Hulk being able to charge so much?
That is a point, because Hulk does ignore hindering and elevated terrain for movement purposes.
How far away can you really run from the Hulk, I think, is the question here.
I think
There's nowhere that's safe. I think we can all agree.
Oh, wait, I think... Oh, it's knockback damage. Hulk hit Deadpool so hard he flew all the way back and fixed
That's
his
incredible.
positioning. Oh, apparently Mario rolled doubles there.
Oh. Yeah, he did roll a 3 and a 3 for that 6.
I gotta fix this.
So what do we have now? I think that really messed up Elliott's entire strategy there, getting knocked back into Wonder Woman almost.
Yeah. Well, let's see. He's gonna have to spend some turns. Deadpool's gonna have to spend a couple of turns healing up until he's useful again. He's not going to get back on his ranged combat dials until he gets up to click number 3. So unless he wants to go into a close combat game and use Blade's Claw's Fangs, now it looks like they're both going to have to get in each other's faces.
Yeah. Now's the time for that big Wonder Woman, I think.
Let's see.
I feel like at this point all she's doing is holding the roof up on the map.
Well, and right now she's a 15-point body though to block Jakeem and protect his.
I guess.
All right, and that's the 20-minute announcement being called by BMAC, or head organizer.
Hosting at Space Cadets Gaming.
Yes, that is the case. Down on Robinson Road in Oak Ridge, Texas. All right, so Elliott's drawing line of fire from something. It looks like. Alright, Jakeem is picking support and combat reflexes. So it looks like he might try to spend this turn healing up Deadpool.
It's an interesting choice.
It is an interesting choice indeed. I'm wondering if Deadpool is going to be using regeneration. Oh.
I'd really like to see some sort of attack with Jakeem at this point.
Oh. There's been a judge call made. Okay, the judge clarified you cannot, in fact, use charge and support together.
I just want to make sure. So not support.
Alright, he looks like he's repicking his powers then. There is still a... Okay, so Elliott burned the ID card, scoring Mario 5 points. Alright, Jakeem is picking invincible and shape change, so he's going defensive on this one right here. Alright. So what do you think of the match so far?
I think it's exciting. I think there's a lot of big characters and big hits happening. I really am excited to see Jakeem come out and really do some damage, as well as that huge Wonder Woman. There seems to be a lot of back and forth questioning about abilities and line of sight stuff between these two players. How often is there a level of animosity between players in these kind of matches? Or is it generally pretty cordial?
Normally it's pretty cordial. The Clix community is it's quite small and very comfortable because a lot of people know each other on a first name basis, so it's largely a friendly environment. It's safe to say that the salt is not very present here.
Alright, so what are we doing with the Deadpool now?
I think Deadpool just used regeneration to regain a little bit of health.
Alright. You like to see that. We're at just about the 18-minute mark. We're closing in now.
Alright. Elliott's considering his options. Alright. I think he's considering where to move next.
We're calling for a judge call on the board now.
Alright, and please stand by, listeners. We have another judge call. Okay. So, looks like Elliott is considering a retaliation with Wonder Woman, and he's trying to find out the minutia of that. Now remember, if Wonder Woman would hit the Hulk, he can't be moved and it can't be placed. So now Hulk has a 0 range right now, so he can't make ranged combat attacks. But that inability to be moved is going to hamper.
It really kind of limits his biggest player on the board.
Yes.
Well, aside from the 3-foot-tall Wonder Woman, I think.
Well, that is true, and it would prevent Hulk from going back and being killed by Goblin King.
Oh goodness!
All right, here it goes.
That's what I've been waiting for.
All right, so what Elliott can
Battle of the Titans.
What Elliott can hope for is to put Hulk on his last click. All right. See. All right. It looks like there's a failed shape change roll that went off the map. All right. It was a failed shape change roll. And it's a 10 on a 19. So it's a kind of steep roll, but let's see what happens. Oh, it's a 9 on the button.
Lovely. So what does that mean for the roll?
He has impervious. Alright, making the impervious roll, and that's a 5, so Hulk will take 0 damage.
Excellent.
Alright, that was a strong move.
You made it, right? Yes. So no damage, but...
And he still is hit, so he can't be moved. Hulk won't be able to be moved or placed.
So even though it didn't hurt him click-wise, he still can't move that piece on the board.
Yes, and additionally, since he can't make... since Wonder Woman is on a higher elevation, he won't be able to maneuver around and attack him.
Why doesn't Wonder Woman just use the stomping power because she's so much taller than the Hulk? I'm really confused about the size restrictions of these pieces. Wonder Woman is 4.5 feet tall. The Hulk is only 2-3 inches. Why isn't she just stomping him at this point in the game?
Well, all these Colossal Retaliators have a power called Colossal Indifference. So basically, they're so big and they're so bad that the petty squabblings of mere mortals like you, me, and the Hulk are too below her concern.
I would never classify myself as a mere anything, but your point is made.
Fair enough.
Coming up on the 15-minute mark in this first round.
Close combat, yes.
Is that it, or does he have any
Nasty.
No,
I know you have Rob, right? Okay.
All right. Looks like we're moving the Hulk. Oh, no, it can't move the Hulk. Oh, goodness.
Oh wait, and Ape Superman is out. This
Oh,
is
Ape
interesting
Superman.
play.
As you know, Superman is a bit of a Boy Scout. However, I do like apes, so maybe there'll be something interesting about Ape Superman.
Yeah, this is a new piece. It's a 15-point bystander token with 8 movement charge, 10 attack, a 17 with impervious, and a 3 damage. And Ape Superman can use super strength, and he ignores hindering terrain for movement purposes.
Oh, that's
So
lovely.
this is a little interesting effective piece. We haven't seen very many of these since Scotty's Warbound back in Fear itself. These efficient, low-cost bystander tokens.
This is a limited edition piece as well. Pretty much everything about this is cooler than the real Superman.
Yeah, he's a monkey. He's affordable to get, and he's quite effective. I think this is part of the Summer Colossal OP event that WizKids has been putting on for their 15th anniversary. Looks like there's another judge call. And I think judge is not ruling in Mario's favor. Okay, let's see what's happening.
What is this piece?
That's Jakeem Thunder.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, the Goblin King, otherwise known as David Bowie from Labyrinth.
Yes. Okay, so looks like Hulk has cleared action token, so he's not going to have this combat value buff. So he's going to be a bit more vulnerable to a counterattack.
Uh-oh.
So let's see what happens now. Does Elliott decide to go on the aggro and finish off the Hulk? Or does he try to play it more conservative and salvage and save the board positioning he has?
Really excited about a big finish for the Hulk here.
Yeah, so we'll see what
I really would
happens
like
in the
that to
next
happen.
13 minutes.
The only thing that overlay is missing is the Space Cadets Gaming King.
All right. We're back.
So what are we going to see here? Let's take one real quick look at both of their forces to see coming up on the 10-minute mark.
Okay, so since Elliott decided to use that Nick Fury ID card to seriously damage Hulk, that means Mario Cortez has scored 5 points, so he is ahead. So as long as he manages to not have Hulk take 2 damage, he might be able to pull out ahead on this.
Kind of an uneventful end to the first round here if it's a 5-point victory.
It can be.
A victory is a victory, but 5-0 is hardly something to write home about, I would think.
I mean, one character is wrapped. There's two-thirds of Mario's forces is wrapped up in one figure, so that was that's quite a tough character to take down.
That is true.
Since you were almost one-shotted by Nick Fury, that will certainly help on that.
Damage, yes.
All right.
Here we go. What are we doing? Let's see something big here. Come on, big, tall Wonder Woman.
All right, Wonder Woman is gonna move. Is she gonna carry Jakeem? Nope, Jakeem is gonna move on his own.
Ooh.
If you want to read your narrative.
Yeah.
I think he's considering pulling out another ID card.
Uh-oh.
He really is trying to keep his trying to keep his main pieces alive. Oh wait, maybe.
So Elliott's doing a power action with Jakeem.
So it looks like he is calling in
Some guy with a bow and arrow. I think it's Legolas.
Oh, it's the Chase Green Arrow from the new Elf.
Oh, that's what I meant. Chase Green Arrow, not Legolas.
All right, this guy is quite the doozy. He has a trait that says the hit characters can't use defense powers. So what he's trying to do, let me pull this up real quick. So I think what he is trying to do is tag Hulk. All right. So Green Arrow has an opening 12 attack. He has traded sidestep and range combat expert.
Okay.
So at 8 away, he can try to do is use range combat expert to bring his attack to a 14 and then try to tag the Hulk. And once he attacks the Hulk won't be able to use defense powers, meaning all that impervious, all the invulnerability will not be able to be used. And then Jakeem can just come in for.
So some little guy with a bow and arrow is gonna make Hulk non-impervious anymore.
Well,
doesn't that seem a little far-fetched?
Oh, this is the Green Arrow from The Dark Knight Returns.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the one-armed one.
So he has one arm.
Yeah, he has one arm. Look,
How does he even shoot a bow and arrow with his mouth?
Yes.
That's ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Well, I mean, it is superheroes fighting.
It's exciting stuff, though.
I know.
I would like to see.
This could be the finishing move that Elliott is looking for.
So, in combination with the Green Arrow attacking the Hulk and making his impervious go away, and the attack from Jakeem, this could be very well Hulk's last few moments.
This very well could be, as long as Elliott makes it past the Hulk shape change rolls. All right. And then the attack is made. Shape change being rolled, and it is a 3.
Which means?
All right, it means it's a 13. Oh, 6 damage.
It's a big hit.
This could be for the kill. Let's see. Oh, that will hit a 21 fist.
Is that Hulk dead?
Is this it?
Oh, I believe this might be the end of Mario's Hulk.
Oh,
and the Hulk is KO'd.
The Hulk is now down, and
8 minutes left.
All that means within. No, that's another, and that's an additional 6 points since the symbiote was attached to the Hulk as well.
So again, for those of you keeping track at home, a one-armed archer has taken down the Incredible Hulk. Is that correct?
That seems to be the case.
This is the most unrealistic game I've ever seen in my life.
I know. 0 out of 10. Would not play again.
Would not play again. Would not recommend to friend. That's
Randy
incredible.
Worst game of the year.
He's got a huge player on the board with Jakeem Thunder, and an alternate, if I'm not mistaken, Green Arrow is coming and won the day.
Yes, very.
An alternate and a Nick Fury ID card essentially took the Hulk down.
All right, so Elliott essentially traded 10 points for 206.
I think that's a smart move math-wise.
He has increased his investment by over 20 times.
I'm not technically a mathematician, but that seems like a good move.
All right, and it looks like Cortez is calling a judge to make sure the minutia of Green Arrow's ability is quite understood. So there are multiple stages when you are being hit and then being damage dealt, so I think he's trying to figure out if there's a way that he could have made it out alive.
Sure. Doesn't seem like the judge went in that direction.
All right, and Elliott is going to pass the turn. And that leads 75-point Goblin King to essentially take down Jakeem and...
Just about 7 minutes left in the game. It's a big, big, big deficit to overcome on Mario's side.
Yes, indeed.
No matter how fantastic David Bowie is, I really don't see him pulling out Mario from this loss.
Yeah, especially if Goblin King has an opening 10 attack and a 4 defense, and both of Elliott's main attackers have energy shield deflection, so he's looking at minimum rolling a 9 or a 10.
Here's a little known fact about David Bowie in the movie Labyrinth.
Oh, yeah?
It terrified me as a child.
Really?
I really didn't understand why Muppets were doing evil things.
I have never seen Labyrinth.
Oh, you should watch it. It's horrifying.
Oh, man.
But David Bowie is phenomenal in it.
Looks like I found what to do on my Saturday.
There you go.
Alright, so let's take a look.
Just about 6.5 minutes left. Mario's considering his next move.
Yeah, I'm 9 or 18 from there.
Alright, Hulk. Goblin King is choosing range combat expert. Alright, so we're going to do a little bit of offense, a little bit of defense.
Here we go.
He's going to use something to try to up his combat effectiveness. Alright, looks like Goblin King is going to go after the Ape Superman.
Oh, the Ape Superman.
Yeah, looks like a 13 attack. All right, let's see what happens. Oh, he's making an impervious roll. And Elliott skewed with the impervious roll. Alright, so all Elliott has to do right now is just play on the defensive, and he should make out of this just fine.
Basically, just not die.
Yes. I mean, even if he does lose some of his smaller support pieces, the meat and potatoes are going to be very tough for Goblin King to take down. Because at this point, Jakeem can now start pulse wave Goblin King.
Right. Jakeem and Deadpool are really the two Mario would have to kill to even get back in this game, I think.
Absolutely.
Here we go. Alright, so it looks like Jakeem is going to be using hypersonic speed. Seems as though Elliott's not satisfied with just playing a defensive game here. He wants to wipe the board of Mario's pieces, it looks like. Which is nice, because those of us who play HeroClix and are really serious about it, whatever pieces of your opponents you knock off the board, you actually do get to keep, much like Pogs.
Oh yes, Elliott is now very much in the business of finishing this game. So he is going to go after Goblin King as aggressively as he can.
Which is good. You like to see a complete victory in these kind of things.
Absolutely. All right. So it looks like he is setting up. All right, so let's see what Goblin King does next. Now, Goblin King, since he's at a 75-point line, does not have the power cosmic due to the recent WizKids errata. So he doesn't have willpower, and so if he's going to be taking actions this non-free actions this turn, he will be start taking damage.
Oh.
Which is also going to double in and really have an impact on Goblin King's efficacy at this point.
Elliott carefully considering his next move. It is okay. No, doing a shape change move here with the Goblin King, which is nice. Or something. I'm not really sure.
It looks like Goblin King is definitely going to be on the defensive while he clears action tokens.
Elliott's counting out his moves here. Seems to be taking him a long time to count squares, which I've never really understood in this game. Counting is pretty much my strongest math skill.
I mean, the counting part of it's pretty easy. What Elliott's really trying to focus on right now is positioning. Is how and where you place your characters plays a critical role in how well your team is going to be doing. I have lost games based upon just a misplace in positioning. Like you are one square to the side and you are just in the wrong spot, you may not be able to complete the play you want to do. So it is extra important that players who do this try to make sure that. Oh, it looks like we're going for the
Colt. That really seems like sloppy gameplay. To lose by one square position, you're going to have to do better than that if you're going to be my partner in this.
I know. You learn from past mistakes. All right, and that looks like it's game.
All right, so looks like Elliott took out his final piece, 281 to 10.
Indeed.
Hold on. Thanks for joining us here on the first round. We'll be back presently for round 2. Is that correct?
Yeah, Absolutely. So, what are your takeaways from this event so far?
Well, it's quite clear that as strong as I thought the Hulk was, being an enormous character and one of my personal favorites, that a few well-played strategic moves can easily take him out of the game. And when you have a tentpole character like that, you damn well better be sure that everything's going to go just like you think it will.
Yes, one of the downsides to playing a tentpole character is just because you have so many points wrapped up in a single character.
That is time!
You're wrapped up in a single character that you always run the risk of being out of action. And Nick Fury is just he's just a nasty piece to contend.
Yeah, that's an incredible card.
And especially with Jakeem, he can pick Perplex, he can pick Enhancement, he can just get all the supporting powers to just Voltron all that power into Nick Fury to do maximum damage. And I think that was the deciding play of the game. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we will cut out for a break and we'll join you back in round 2.